welcome. And yes, we are late.
We're late, but we're live.
But that's okay because we are live now. And am I pushing the right button? No, I'm not.
I think so. Can y'all
She
hear
got
us?
all these gadgets over here. Yes, testing. 1, 2, 3. If you cannot hear us, put a trash can. Oh well, if they can't hear us, they can't do what I say. Okay. Great.
Oh, okay, great.
Welcome back to Thursday Night Live.
Production.
I'm Demita Joe, and
I'm Yesama Unicorn.
So we're here to talk about, obviously, Ready to Love, because the social media streets are so much better than the show. Not that the show's bad, but the stuff that's happening on social media, behind the scenes, I guess you could call it, for the people who only watch the show on TV, is getting crazy. But we're also going to talk about some trending topics, because people out here seeing UFOs, you know what I'm saying? People out here rebuking Beyoncé. It's a whole bunch of stuff.
There's a lot of stuff happening in these internet streets. I'm almost afraid to go out and do them. Anyway, okay, let's start off with how was your week with the reflection?
My week was very productive. I did a whole bunch of shit that I didn't want to do, but I did anyway. So I powered through it, and one day I'll see the fruits of those labors.
That's right. I love that. Not today.
So
I love that for you. Also,
how was your week?
It was good, but it just even saying that, I'm going to get into that in a second, but even saying that, it's like, yeah, that's something to look forward to. Like, I put today's work in and I can check that off. You know what I'm saying? So
even if it's boring work, even if it's something that you just be like, you know what, I could be doing so many other things than what I'm doing right now. But anyway, but I'm in my happy place right now because I'm over my sister's house.
Yes,
you know,
it's so fun to be together.
This is gonna be cooked.
Yes,
you know, my mother participated in my son's Double Good popcorn fundraiser, and she don't want the popcorn, so guess who gets to eat it?
I love that.
You know what I'm saying?
That is a come up.
I get to eat it. Okay. So, when she called me and said that, I said, absolutely. I'll come and get that off your hands for you.
Thank you.
If anybody doesn't know, I love popcorn, okay? But not just any old popcorn. I like, you know, decent popcorn. Like, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm here.
You have that in common with Steph Curry. I just watched
Steph Curry likes popcorn?
Oh my gosh. So I just watched this like hot sauce challenge. It's like a show that does this. And Steph Curry
on popcorn?
No.
Oh.
This was like, I really only tuned into this thing. James says he's been watching it forever, but I only tuned into it because recently this is not our topic, but recently Steph Curry was playing golf and he got a hole-in-one, which is like a once-in-a-lifetime type of thing.
I can do it on the week.
I mean, so he got a hole-in-one and he like sprinted down there, I think, just to make sure.
Just to see.
And so he was doing his hot sauce challenge, but it was funny because he talked about how he goes from stadium to stadium, wherever they play, and he tries the popcorn everywhere they go. And he's like,
who got the best popcorn?
I think he said Los Angeles, but I'm not sure. I cannot remember. Do not quote me on that. But anyway, hi everybody.
Yeah, I love popcorn.
Hi. So. Okay, so anyway, how was my week?
Hi y'all. I can't really see over there, so excuse my vision. Hey Ellen. Hey Omega Man. Shout out to Blondie Monique. Oh, you know what I wanted to say before we get into this? Because Blondie Monique, her name just reminded me that. Hey Mocha. Tyrone from the Ready to Love DMV season. Tyrone Wilson, his channel name is Tyrone E. Wilson. He had a great live yesterday. He had It's J Dub on there. He had Phil from the same season on there. He had P.O. from the Potomac season on there. I think Phil might have been on the Potomac season too. Anyway, the ones that were in the DMV area. But they had a conversation about mental health and like things that men kind of struggle with. It was a great conversation. If y'all did not watch it, I shared it on my community tab. It's definitely worth a replay because they talk about so many things that as a woman, like, you don't really think about what the man is going through mentally, right? Especially if you ask him, are you good? And he says, yeah, I'm good, right? Because they're not always going to be good when they say they're good. But anyway, watch that if you're if you're into mental health and bettering yourself. The conversation was such a great conversation amongst men. So we got to be able to hear that. So it was really good.
Oh,
but anyway, back to what we were talking about.
I just clicked out of the whole screen. I got scared. I was like, where is it? That was an old person moment right there for you. But anyway, okay, what was I talking about? I was just saying, my week was good. I didn't do anything particularly fabulous, but yeah, I had a really good week. So I didn't have to work this week. So I was just like,
Y'all
chilling,
every time you say that, y'all
reflecting.
benefits be tight.
Yeah, I gotta say. But I'm working on some really time sensitive and heavy projects that are going to be done this fall, and I'm just so excited that I did need this week off, so I'm glad that that's like built into the thing. But I had a good week. Oh no, but we have so much.
After your nephew goes back to college, when he gets back on campus, I'm taking my vacation then. I don't know, like, not to cut you off or whatever, but like when you're a mom, I don't know how other people deal with this, but I like to be a mom. Like I cook, you know what I'm saying? I cook for myself anyway, but when my son comes home, I cook food, you know what I mean? Like we're gonna have meals or whatever, not 3 meals a day. I'm not cooking 3 meals a day, but I at least cook 1 meal a day. Like he gets on the rest of the day he's on his own. And so, but I can't not do it because I've even tried. Like, why should I feel bad if I don't want to cook tonight? And it's like, okay, when he was little, that's the thing. Like, okay, well, he's a kid, he can't really cook for himself. But now that he's an adult, it's like, girl, if you don't like do what you're about to do and don't worry about him, he will figure it out. And I just be like, dang, I can't not cook. I can't do it.
But I mean, that's just who you are.
I need some tips on how people do. Hey, Kamisha.
That's who you are as a nurturer. And I, for one, will just double down, 10 toes down on that type of motherhood because your mother's that kind of mother too, where I'll never.
If you call her and ask her right now to make something, she'll make it. Hey,
Mom, can you make me a carrot cake? Can you make me, let me tell you something. One thing I'll never turn down from your mother is those rolls and her fried chicken. I will never. There's nobody's fried chicken that's better than my mother's fried chicken. I'm sorry.
Well, I don't really have that many meals that I would turn down from her anyway. Me and Earl were talking about that, about grandma's cooking and stuff like that. Like grandma's cooking was, chef's kiss. Not our mother and her sisters aren't on the same level.
Oh, they're all bomb at different things. That's
but grandma just, I don't know, maybe it's because we was little. She used to make those same rolls, but she used to make them with raisins and cinnamon. Okay, why are we going down this road? I can't even eat that stuff right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm pushing it with
not
this
even
beer,
one of our topics. We're literally talking about our grandma's rolls. This is where we are.
But she used to make homemade ice cream. I remember that.
Oh my God, I remember that little wooden mixer.
And she used to be back there churning the thing.
Hilarious.
The rolls, the cinnamon raisin rolls, and then there was something else. But we were talking about. I was talking about this on my other live. Did she ever make tacos? Do you ever remember?
No,
I remember Mom making tacos. Did we have tacos?
Yeah, I feel like she used to
like grandma ever made them.
You know what? Here's how I know your mother made tacos. It's because we learned how to make them. Yeah. And I feel like her toppings weren't our toppings. Like even her.
No, her toppings ain't got nothing on my toppings. Like, okay, my taco toppings.
Why would you top that? You know what I'm saying, for a taco? It's a taco. It's like okay.
We'll get into that. We can have a whole live about that because there was one point in time where she used to do like anything.
But I make tacos and Mexican food. She used to do what?
She used to do anything.
Oh yeah, the mushrooms.
This don't go together.
The mushrooms.
But if I remember though. That was when we got older, and she probably just didn't want to cook.
This is why I was getting ready to bring up your whole thing when you were talking about Earl, because that's when I would have appreciated. And she still does that, so I'm not trying to hate her.
I realize now that she was like, these chicks can cook for themselves.
Yeah, why am I here? She used to disappear and go on her walks for hours. And it's like, I felt the need, like, oh no, but I own you. You're my mom.
What else are you doing other than being my mother? Like,
you have plans? What is this? What was funny to me is I remember this one time, and this probably this is gonna sum up the conversation about him being home and stuff like that. There was this time that like I came home from college and I was gonna go out, and I was like, "Hey, Ma, I need you to do some cornrows. Here's how I need them. I need things like this in the front, and then back here you can do like this, and then I'm gonna do like this." And she was like, "But I have a date," and I was like, "What? Get out of here! I need you to do this. Will you focus?"
You didn't believe her?
She did this quick, like cornrows straight to the back, cyber style, and I was so disgusted. I was like, how dare you waste my time with these?
You took them out?
Yeah. Because I was like, yo, this is ridiculous. that she spent like 20 minutes putting
also
ugly plaits
just
in her
little
hair.
interesting facts.
it's like,
she also used to be a cosmetologist, so the fact that she fucked those cornrows up, she really did not want to do your hair.
So that's when I realized, like, okay, she's like looking at me. I'm an adult, you know what I'm saying?
Goodness.
So that's that. Anyway, okay, let's get into these topics. I'm so glad you guys are here. Oh, look, Kamisha says
she got to go to work. But she said she wouldn't miss her. She wouldn't turn down her mom's gumbo.
Yes, I wouldn't turn down my mom's gumbo. I think everybody got something where it's just like, oh, you cooking that? Well, I guess I'll stick around for a plate of that. You know what I'm saying? Oh, she got to go to work. Bye, Kamisha. She probably already gone. Yes, Blondie. It's something about cooking for people, especially when they
if they enjoy your cooking.
Like, yeah.
And so, like, yeah, that's the problem I struggle with, because I know I got to eat anyway, but I do cook very differently for myself than I do when he is home, because for me, like, some nights I might have like worked a long day and I've eaten and everything throughout the day, but for dinner I might do something really simple. Like, I might make myself like my version of a little charcuterie board. It'll have some protein, it'll have some snacks or whatever, but like that'll be enough for me to go to bed. But I can't just be like, here, take the charcuterie board.
You know, they say that people our age and our generation we grew up on Lunchables, and that's why we like charcuterie.
That kind of makes sense, because when I look at,
because I can eat a charcuterie for dinner.
I was looking, and I do it sometimes. It just, you can put whatever you want on there. I might put whatever.
Fruits.
We'll get into that in another video, but my point is, like, I have to be like, you know what? You really don't have to cook for him. He is old enough to figure it out himself, but for some reason I just be feeling bad if I don't.
I mean,
I'll be like,
listen, that's your thing. Do it, and just do it.
I mean, the food be in there. It's not like he can't cook it either.
Just do it with intention. Like, sometimes I find myself doing something like, oh, I guess I got to do this now, and I be asking myself, like, how can I have fun with this? Or I wonder if I can beat this thing from last time. Like, maybe not necessarily like the time it takes me to do it, but sometimes I'll do that, like with the dishes. I'll be like, last time it took me 20 minutes. I bet I can do it in 18. And that just makes it a little bit more exciting. But like, whenever I have to like cook, oh my God, it's a whole thing.
You should not cook if you don't really feel like it.
No, because you can taste it in the food. But like, it's like, I try to just like either watch something, try to make something that inspires me to cook. But we do a lot of meal preps too, so there's that.
No, but the funny thing that you just said to me was like, you time yourself washing dishes and try to beat
myself. And sometimes I don't even remember to look back at the timer. But the point is like, oh, I'm just gonna enjoy this little task.
You walk by when you be like,
yeah. Oh my God, 17 minutes. Yeah, I've done that before with certain things. Yeah, not dishes specifically, but like, I'm a weirdo, everyone.
Oh my goodness.
Chicken pastry. Oh, like chicken pot pie or something. I like that.
Oh, probably.
This is Ellen saying, Kamisha, you were so funny in your live when you read about Marvin's kiss. You didn't even realize you read the spoiler.
So she was doing this live the other day, and she was talking about Ready to Love, and she got like the episodes, what's gonna happen, and she was too far ahead saying that something happened, but Kamisha is funny. She made me laugh the other day because of what we're going to talk about a little bit later. She made me laugh because remember the video that I sent you?
I think so, yeah.
And went to an IG, Janelle. That day she was going off, but then the next day she did a live. Well, I think one of the next day she was like, "Oh well, the panel is Saturday and we haven't forgotten." Like, oh my God.
I know that's right.
We're going to get into all of that.
Ready. All right, look, let's get this started. We already 14 minutes in. Okay, that's less than I thought.
Chicken and dumplings is flat strips of dough. Ooh, that sounds good, Mocha.
Ooh.
This lady I used to know through somebody else. Like, I had this roommate, and me and her both had kids, but she had somebody who used to help her with her child sometimes. But she made this chicken and rice and chicken and dumplings. Like, that was her go-to. Everybody went to her for that or whatever. And that was like, there
was this lady that used to babysit us way back when we were very young, but I still remember the taste of whatever food she was giving us. It tasted like gravy or something. I guess it was called like fufu or something.
Oh, you talking about the African lady that used to she used to eat farina and like dip it in like gravy. Well, she called it farina.
Yeah, whatever that was. I still remember it being delicious. I mean, that was years ago.
I remember that. I remember that. Okay, all right.
Okay, listen. Now we're about to get into the topics, y'all. Our first topic tonight is UFOs. Now, you may have remember back in June, we did a show where we talked about these UFOs, and I believe it was in Arizona. But anyway, back in June, there were these people who said that there were these 9-foot beings in their backyard, and then this footage comes up on social media. Now, I'm going to show the footage, but at the same time, like, I don't know if this is real. Whatever.
Right, I think when we said it the first time, we didn't know whether somebody was dressed up like this. But let me ask the chat a question, and you. Do you think that UFOs and aliens exist? Even though the government just said that pretty much they do, but like, what do you think? Do you think that they are real? Do you think that they are like just another made-up story? Like, what is your thought about aliens and UFOs?
Obviously there exists, like, if we are created and the universe is so huge and we're just like this tiny little minuscule little part of the universe, of course there's other life forms out there. There's other life forms in the ocean that we don't even know about. I just found out about a species of something today that lives in grasshoppers or something called hair worms, and somebody dipped a praying mantis into like some water, and these worms started coming out, and I was like, what in the world is this? I never knew anything like this existed. Of course, there's other life out there in the galaxies. Like, what?
So what
if this thing? I actually think that this is not. It's a possibility that it's not real. But the way the thing moves, it looks like a large roach.
Get back to what you were about to say, but like, so
the way it moves, it doesn't look like AI to me. It actually looks like this might be actual footage.
So okay, what if like, okay, yeah, we're here on Earth, right? And this is the world that we know, whatever. Like, what if it's another Earth and they're looking at us like, you know, like this is where we go, like how we go to the zoo.
Mm-hmm.
And they just be like, let's go down to Earth and see what's going on.
See what they're doing. Yeah, let's see how they're getting on.
Oh Lord.
I could see that because, you know, we are wilding. This day and age, there's so many crazy things that are happening. I'm like, what? I can't even believe that we're having certain discussions that things are happening. Like, you know, I don't know. I mean, I do remember around this time, okay, we can get into this. Around this time, there was this police 911 call that was saying like there's some 9-foot being in my backyard. I don't know if this is that, but they are playing the call on this clip.
Okay.
And you know, somebody could get on their computer with some good AI, you know,
fourth quarter
with some good stuff and just, you know, edit the crap out of some video. But I don't know, for some reason I do believe this. And then on top of that, there was a guy who, and I'm about to pull this up next.
I don't believe this because I feel like in my mind, aliens can probably like sense stuff and they wouldn't have let that person record them like that.
I mean, they might not even care. We don't care if the animals in the zoo see us. They're just like, whatever, look at these animals. So listen, then we have this. This is like so funny to me. This is a congressional hearing that happened recently, like at the end of July, where these military veterans like have testified in Congress that they'd recovered bodies that were not human. And like it was like this video clip, it kept playing, and I was just like, this is so non-shocking to me. I was just like, okay, so now they're saying something about it. So maybe now is the time that we need to know about it. That was what my thought pattern was.
What I would say is I do believe that other life outside of us exists. But to what extent, I don't know. They use the word non-human biologics, which is crazy to me because there's a lot of wordplay in this or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay.
That could mean a lot of things.
Trust and believe. And nobody tell us everything. You know what I'm saying? But we all have phones, right? Mm-hmm. So we can record, we can search, we can do whatever. And that, like, because remember back in the day, it's been stories of like, oh, you know, sightings of UFOs and stuff like that for years and years before the cell phone existed. But back then it was just the word of mouth. Like, and then most people would probably be like, oh, that person, you know, they off a little bit, right? Nobody saw that, but then.
Yeah.
But now that people can get like footage and like who knows what kind of footage is people have. Yeah, I feel like they did have to say something because they don't know what footage is out there. You know what I mean?
I also think that they don't have control over something, and now it's like, oh, we better say something. So we said something.
I mean, because I really do feel like I wouldn't be surprised if they've already seen one of these non-human
they already
beings.
know, and now this is what I'm saying. They wouldn't even tell us until something like now happens. I'm saying now, but I feel like now they have to tell us because what if somebody sees it? Well, we need to.
2023, and everything that I could have ever tried to imagine has happened. So I don't know what to look forward to as far as it's like I don't really know what this means, but it's really interesting. Did you see that?
Rachel.
Okay,
that was funny. I did see that. I lied. I did, in fact, see that, guys.
Stop! You making my eyes water.
All right, listen.
Well, y'all don't need to know what she saw.
Listen, here's what's funny. So yeah, there's UFOs. We all saw. Listen, I know it was fiction, but we saw Independence Day. We know what's up, guys. Listen, there's aliens here. In other news, in other shocking news,
but I always say when you see a movie and they have a concept, where did the concept come from? That's what I always say.
Yeah.
Like, when I saw Minority Report, I thought that I was like, so y'all can predict.
And now, if we go back and look at some of these movies, because oh my gosh, if we go back and look at Minority Report right now, the AI has been introduced and sort of like integrated into our. I be using AI. Okay.
I mean, you use AI whether you use it on purpose or not.
About it or not,
because like everybody's had that moment where you talk about some cat food. And you ain't even got a cat, and then the cat food starts coming up on your Facebook feed.
Everything I talk about with somebody next to my phone ends up coming up. And then I was thinking earlier as I was like bringing things up on the screen, I was like, all these advertisements, well, not all of them, but like a lot of the advertisements that come up on my screen are things related to other things that I had like looked at. Right. So I saw like some planner stickers and some stuff like that. I was like, good thing I'm not into anything. And
I say that all the time because if you watch my shout out to Relationship Entertainment Television. If y'all are not following them, follow them. It's a Black network here on YouTube that has a bunch of interesting content, and my show's on there. But on my show, if you watch the show, when I pull up websites, it always comes up. I'll be like, why is this? I search workout tees. That comes up. It's be on the side. Like, so yeah. So you gotta watch that, especially since the Carly Russell thing. Like, they can't pull up your search history. So you know what I'm saying? No, that's just private.
Yeah, but you know what's crazy? So, okay, let that be the thing, because okay. Here's the thing. We're gonna talk about Beyonce a little bit later, but my mother used to think that because the stuff that went down, and maybe Omega Man or Fourth Quarter can help us with this, but like right around the time that Solange had that altercation with Jay-Z in the elevator, there was a football player, I think his name was Ray Rice, who had like hit his girlfriend in the elevator, and your mother was like, oh, they're just trying to get the message out there that there's cameras on elevators. I was like, no, lady, we already knew that. But it was just like one of those things. It was just like, okay, what is that about?
Oh my goodness.
But anyway, listen. In other shocking news, everyone, your favorite president happens to be a criminal. And I'm for one, I'm flabbergasted. But the most like precarious thing to me is Sister Pence.
Oh my God. This just called that man Sister Pence.
Look at him. He looked like he got his hands on his hips. Like he came to throw down. He's spilling all the tea about how, like, look, not only was this a hoax, guys, he did it on purpose. Like, he's now spilling all the tea. And I just remember around that time where he used to look so down in the mouth, if I can call it. He just used to look so sad when that whole January 6th thing happened. And now he's like perky and telling the biz. And I'm like, okay, now that he got indicted, right? Like now that Trump got indicted, now you're going to spill all the tea.
I mean, yeah, either he has to do that or he's going to be sitting right beside Trump. He had to separate himself. He had to further,
separate himself.
He had to further point at Trump.
Look, Sister Pitts, that wig looks sharp, girl.
You think that's a wig?
No.
It could be a hairpiece.
No, it's not a hairpiece. I just remember that
You never
skit
know
of
these
that
days.
fly.
Anything could be anything.
When he debated Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala, he had that fly. It's coming to sit on his head, and
That is the first thing I think about when I see his hair.
it.
Whenever I see him, I think that.
But he did make one of my favorite meme faces of all time in that first election, where he was just like shaking his head. That's one of my favorite memes.
So it could be a hairpiece, but anything could be anything these days. Did you see when did I send you the story about the dude that turned into a dog? He's a trans dog.
Oh, that made me so angry.
He's a trans dog now.
That made me so angry.
Turned himself
this
from
made
human
me
into
feel
like
we
don't have to talk about it, but
we have to talk about it now. I mean, what? I was so pissed
he
off.
Turned himself.
Guys,
he spent $20,000.
It was
turned into.
I don't know. Was it 15 or 20? It was $20,000 probably. I'm getting ready to bring it up because
20K.
That made me so angry.
I did it on my last show of WGO.
I gotta just bring this up real quick because it was so. I don't want to say triggering because that's a funny word to me.
Who would want to be a dog though? Like
my thinking is this. Like that is. It made me so angry. I don't know why. I'm not an angry person. But I was so angry when I saw that. I was like, I hate human beings. And he made me so mad. I was like, why? Here it is. Oh, why? For what? Like, are you kidding me?
$20K to transform himself to a dog.
Like, okay, so this is this guy. Okay, all right. Let me bring this up here so I can see what I'm doing. He just pisses me off so bad. I gotta get myself together. Somebody check my blood pressure.
Oh my god.
No, but okay. Here's this guy. Okay, so first of all,
I'm sorry I had to bring our conversation.
This is now going to become a thing. I don't think that people are going to do.
Like,
but like, it's
I know
so
he did it for
creepy.
a YouTube channel, but still, like,
it's so creepy to me to have a human being in an animal suit. Because it feels like it's not funny to me. It feels like really sick.
So
it's like you are so integrated. Listen, look, this looks like a real dog. I think this is so I can't explain why I'm so outraged, but it's just so vile to me. It's like, what are you actually doing here? And I know this is not like
maybe it comes off. I gotta look at his YouTube.
I'm sure it does come off, but the idea that you're getting into the suit, it's weird. I'm sorry,
because you're not a dog. It's weird. Like,
and then look,
you don't walk on all fours.
Here's the thing: it didn't make me mad until I saw the reaction of the other dog.
Yeah, the other dog.
And so that's the real thing. And so you're gonna hear this is my manifesto. Everyone, you're gonna hear me reference this story. That's why I wanted to bring it up, because when I talk about how real recognize real, it is
the other dog was like, oh, hell
amongst species, amongst living things. And when I show you this, I hope that this next clip shows the dog. Okay, so this is a human being looking crazy walking around in this dog suit.
That's
I'm like,
crazy.
Ew.
And he's rolling over and
it's
stuff.
It's so weird that you would spend your day this way.
There's
and hella money.
A point where he's waving at the camera later.
I don't want to see
like,
that.
Here's the part where the other dog is about to come into the picture, and that dog is not gonna be. He's gonna be like,
He's like, this? What? No, that ain't no dog.
And right after that, the dude is waving at the camera. He did this for his YouTube channel. Watch this dog. He like, no, what the fuck is that? He's out. You know, and he
ran away, and that's how us humans are, but in our minds, right? Like all of our manners and stuff.
Look, he's waving at the camera. That's crazy to me. I got to look at the YouTube channel. I got to see.
Freaky. That's what it is. It makes me upset because it's freaky.
So, like I said, anything could be anything, because So
it's freaky to me, and I feel like if people are walking around doing this, and like the next time I see a big dog, I'm gonna think that it's not a dog, and dogs don't deserve that.
You did get real mad over that.
I hate people for this. Right. Why are you doing this with your life? What is this gonna do?
I'm gonna watch the YouTube channel to see why he did it.
All right,
he wanted to be a dog as a little boy, though. So
do you hear how that sounds? I do. I'm so upset. It's like, I'm not really upset, guys, but I'm just saying, like, he wanted to be a dog ever since he was a little boy. And it's like, dog, like, you're a human, though. Like, do you see how that doesn't work?
No, why not? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He wanted it. And so that he
So that he
you know
may
what I'm
have-
saying?
You know what?
Even
I
though
can't
God
handle this
didn't make
person.
him a dog, he said, "You know what, God? I'm gonna do it
Look,
myself."
All right, we're getting too far
That's
with
what he
this
said.
conversation.
Okay, let me stop.
Because you know, I really feel as though
I think that is
listen,
a
everybody,
little
it's a bit far,
taking
and
it
I
too
just
far.
I don't know what it is. It's weird to me. I cannot dig it. Okay, wait. We have somebody in the comments. We have to see. Oh, she was saying that she didn't think that video was real. That's Ellen.
Yeah, I gotta look at his YouTube channel because he did it for a YouTube channel, but
Fake news.
it's really crazy.
Yep, especially if you get. Okay, is that a trans canine? That's what that is, Ellen. That was a trans canine.
Somebody had commented on it, says it's trans collie.
Amazing. Yeah, it is. Okay. Anyway,
you
so
doing? What are you looking
your
at?
president got, he pleaded not guilty. If he's convicted on all counts, he faces 55 years. But I don't think they're going to send him.
I don't think he's gonna do that.
Listen, let me show you something that really blew my mind.
I don't have high hopes for that.
Because we got some ready to love stuff to talk about in a second. But guys, let's talk about this.
You feelings with her?
I have some feelings. I do. I have some feelings. Let me just come down into here and present. I mean, listen.
Come on now.
Things happen in our lives and we go through. And then we are just, all we can do is react. Wait, I can't even find the. Okay, here we go. So this young lady is out here in these internet streets.
I can tell you feel some type of way about this.
Listen, I do because I love God and I'm a Christian. I'm a devout. Whatever devout means. I don't even say that word. I don't know what it means. If you ask me to define it and gave me $50, I'd probably be wrong. So I don't know what devout means, but I think it means like committed or something. This lady is like she's a prophet apparently. Okay. Now, this woman a little while ago she wasn't giving a sermon. I think she was introducing somebody on stage, and she had said that committed. Oh, I was right. Oh, guys. Oh gosh.
This up turned into a hit.
I'm sorry, but I was
excited.
But she is. I'm sorry. I should have said her name. Her name is Tiffany. What is her name? Tiffany Montgomery.
I feel like I do have.
She was on stage in like this lilac dress. It was like a light purple dress, and she was talking about how like whoever has Beyoncé tickets, she didn't say you're gonna go to hell, but it was basically like a negative statement after that. Like, you're worshiping an idol, and there's all these things. Anyway, she says in this particular clip that she brings up these things that happened in Lemonade. And so Lemonade was released after we all know Jay-Z had some issues, and I don't know if he cheated or what, but Lemonade was a bomb album, and she had a lot of stuff going on in there where she was like reciting poems. One of them talked about like using the Bible pages to stop her menses or something. And so she's kind of just talking about that right here. And she's basically saying that if you have tickets to see the Beyoncé concert, then you are worshiping an idol, and you're going to be, she's, rebuking people. And she's saying that like there's a portal, basically, I suppose, of hell at the concert. And she's talking about how Beyonce worships, Satan or something like that. But she's saying that like Beyonce hates your God. And I don't get that from her, but okay, did you want to talk about this first?
So, okay, yeah, no, I don't have much to say about this because Beyonce doesn't say much, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not sure if she talks about God like that or whatever. I don't know. So I don't really have an opinion on this.
I know that she used to go to church, and they had songs with Destiny's Child that were like sort of like they did Amazing Grace on the first album, and When Jesus Say Yes, we all know that Michelle Williams is a gospel artist. I really did not want to hear this. I'm going to be so honest. When she said this, I remember when it first came out, I was like, who is this person? And they put up all these clips of her Twitter back in 2013 talking about, I just saw Beyonce and it was great and all this. And there's actually a couple of people out here talking about how Beyonce is, not doing witchcraft, but like she worships Oshun.
Yeah,
and
she's
she has
been
said
accused
things
of
like
doing
that
witchcraft
in
before.
her
And working with
in her
witches,
videos.
But
No, listen,
we don't know what's true and what's
I
not true.
don't know what's true and what's not, but I do understand.
But I don't hear her coming out and saying stuff like praising God or whatever.
Yeah.
Either. So I don't know. And then there is something to be said about symbolism that you're involved with. So I don't know. Like a lot of stuff is just left up to speculation, but I haven't watched this video yet. You sent it to me, but I gotta watch it.
I watched this video, and I'll just say this. She says that she's a prophet. Something about her makes me believe her. As I started the video, and I was just like, who is this person? Let me see. And I wanted to like find holes. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to poke holes. And the more I watched her, the more I was like, what?
Oh, wait, I just got a question.
Yeah.
Did you poke holes in Carly's story?
Nah, I know, right? Now I'm the whole poker. I've been promoted, everyone. No, but that's so funny because I was actually.
But that probably made you be like, you know what? Let me
really think about this. Well,
I had to, y'all.
No, that was good. When I looked at this, I was like, she has some points, and other people have some points, and I do not currently hold tickets to the Beyoncé concert,
but if somebody gave you,
but I do have this app, and there's hella seats left over, and if some seats come up for $150, I'm gonna buy 2, and hopefully you're not busy on Saturday, and then we'll just do that. But I'm not gonna. Here's the thing: I went
to go see her before. Yeah, I do remember that.
Keep your calendar clear Saturday night, because that's definitely gonna happen. Okay, but here's the thing. When I look at her, right, when I watched her video and I watched Shan's interview her, at first I was like looking for holes, and then I realized like she seems truthful to me now. I don't know enough about her to be like, oh yeah, you're a prophet, right? I haven't seen her. I just found out about her earlier this year when she said the thing about the concert. I'd never heard of her before. And even when this came out, I didn't remember her face, and I had to go back and be like, was this the same person who said that? And it was like, yeah. Because that's one of the questions that Shan said asked her. Well, here's the thing. I think she brings some great points. I think I wouldn't really want to just position myself to dispute those points because they were good. They were good points. And I see what she's saying, and I see what other people are saying about like not idolizing and worshiping. There's this funny clip of Oprah earlier this week going to see Beyonce, and Gail was with her, and Oprah was like, oh my God, I've never experienced anything like this in my life. And I was like, I know that's right. Like, because I love Beyonce. So I was just like, yeah. And then Gail was like, oh my God, the energy. I feel so powerful. I feel like Gail ironically was like, I feel like I could just eat a piece of raw meat. Like, she was like, I feel so powerful. I understand what Gail was saying. That the ghost? Well, I understand Gail because I watch her like most every morning. But I understand what she was saying. Now, as the video was closing and they were like getting the final shots of Oprah and her reaction, whoever the camera person was said something like, welcome to the Beyonce religion. Oh, blah, blah, blah. And Gail was like, well, no, I didn't say that. Ain't nobody doing that though. No, right? And before the camera shut down, she said that. And I was like, yeah. So I would say this.
Hold up now.
I would say this. There was a couple of things that I wanted to say about this. Like, number one, we may never see it, but I would be curious to know what her reaction would be, because she has said things about God before. She sang in the song, when Jesus say yes, nobody can say no. That was Michelle's song, but both her and Kelly. Yeah, so you listen. That was like more than 10 years ago.
If you sing a song, that's one thing. Because people sing songs or rap songs about shit that they didn't even do, right? True. Or whatever. It doesn't mean that's actually what they believe in. So I don't know, because I've never done any research to see if she does talk, like if Beyonce does ever say, anything about what her faith is or who she believes in. I don't know if that exists, but I mean, I gotta watch the video you sent me.
Here's the thing, because
I gotta hear her.
I'll just say one thing, and then I'm gonna let this. Well, two things.
But I know she does have a lot of symbolism in there,
for sure.
And she's surrounded with people. She's surrounded by people who also are involved in other.
It's not to be ignored, but I will say that I'm not gonna. It's like sustained. It's like I'm not gonna ignore it, but it's like okay,
Put a pin in
heard.
that.
But I also don't know Tiffany Montgomery enough to be like,
right.
You know what I'm saying? To like,
yeah,
are you really a problem? But listen, here's
I don't really. Yeah, that's true. We don't know who she is, but I'm just saying, like, as a general thing, we do know that there is some symbolism at the very least involved, and people have, we can't take the people's. All we got is the people's word, really, from the people who used to work with her and stuff like that.
Yeah,
a lot of people have accused her of certain things or whatever, but. That's why I say I haven't really seen her come out and speak to any of her religion or beliefs.
Now, let me say this doesn't look good either. Michelle Williams, I actually was looking for something to be said. Michelle Williams came out and said, why don't she just pray for people? Yeah. She's like, I'm hearing a lot about people judging celebrities and entertainers. Why don't you just pray for them? And the way she said it, she never addressed who. And she kind of like talked around it like it's not the person you might think I'm talking about, but we all go through things and you should just pray for entertainers instead of damning them to hell. And that made me think like, well, damn, up close. If you saying that, then maybe she right. At the same time, I'm going to need somebody to come out and say it for me because I'm way too invested. I love Beyonce. I do the same way that Oprah and Gail described it. It's like, yeah, I want to feel empowered. I want to see these beautiful costumes that she's wearing. So listen, at this point, I'm like, I hear what you're saying. Tuck that away. Not going to forget it, right? But at the same time, I'm going to need somebody like Erica Campbell or TD Jakes or Sarah Jakes Roberts or like, somebody like that to come out and be like, I rebuke Beyonce. So like,
we live in 2023 now. There's alien life here. You know what I'm saying? We could be walking amongst the aliens. Beyonce might be a superstar alien performer, not even a human. TD Jakes could be a part of it too, and they're just going to take up for her. Suck it over. Like, I don't know what's going on right now.
We don't know what's happening, guys. Listen, I just know that I'm not idolizing anybody before God. No, but listen, that's actually a good point. You were joking, but that's real. All right, listen. Okay,
Read Focus comment. She said that lady is a nut.
Oh, she's talking about Tiffany Montgomery.
The show, too.
The lady, Tiffany Montgomery? Or Mocha Mina?
She just went to the show.
Renaissance is amazing, and I know it will be. And I feel like, listen, if it's the portal of hell, which I doubt it is, it's like,
first of all, I'm not even acknowledging that that's a real thing.
I don't think that's what it is. I don't think that's what it is. And I think people get a bad rap for, not everybody, even this girl this lady admits that she had a real crazy upbringing and story. Like she was doing crimes and things. And, she, not everybody's perfect, but I mean, at this point, we're like, I don't even care. It's nothing that Beyonce could say to like clear her name of this because people have already made up their minds.
Well, she doesn't really address stuff anyway.
Exactly.
I feel like that's the way to go because if you engage, then it grows into something else.
I also do acknowledge that she did do those things in her video, and I'm not saying that this person is wrong or that people who say this are wrong. I'm just saying I need a little more.
And I mean, in the words of your mother, people don't tell you everything and we don't see everything, right? Because we don't know what anybody does that when they're not with us. And she's never with us. So we don't know what kind of practices
I just know that she's adding value to my life in ways, and I need a real good, solid sign before I denounce Beyonce out of my life. Okay, that's what I'm saying on that. Now, okay, this is a different thing, and we're going to be... Ooh, sorry, that's not it.
What you should
I was trying to share this. That was funny.
I missed it. I was looking at TV.
It was just a list of what we're talking about.
Oh. Yeah, so everybody should have a list, man.
Hey, listen, I'm a list
that are right there and clickable.
I'm a lady who lists. That was the show, Ladies Who List, but it was about real estate. Anyway, this is the one that I really wanted to show. This is about Lizzo, guys. I like Lizzo. I think Lizzo's cool. I hope this isn't too busy.
She plays the fruit. She plays the flute and the fruit.
Hello. Oh, that was a Freudian slip.
Oh my God.
She plays the fruit. Oh, I'm glad I didn't share that yet. Because it's like way too much going on.
Yeah, I hate that.
Listen, guys, I'm just trying to share the internet.
They had to click on like 4 things.
Can we share the internet with the world? I don't even want to buy any of this stuff. Okay, so look at that. It's like 5 screens.
Yeah, that happens on my other show too. It's like, what in the world? I'm trying to just share an article.
Look, Lizzo made graphic remarks about incorporating bananas in the sex act back in 2019. Now we have two of her dancers, her performers, coming forth saying that they were harassed, that they were meant to touch sex organs or whatever, like eat bananas out of people's vaginas or something like this in Amsterdam. They're actually accusing her of fat shaming them, and they both got, well, one of them I know at least got fired. And today, Lizzo came out and denied those allegations, and she said that it was unfair. These are the words that she said, and I need to bring her thing up because she was saying that she thought it was unfair the way that um, they put her out there. And I feel like this. I don't know what's true or what's not, but I do think some of these things happen because of the way that she responded. Because for somebody to call it unfair, she didn't say it didn't take place. And I think that especially in these types of industries, people feel like they're cool with people and they don't really know when they're crossing the line if they are. She's saying, I know that I'm not the villain. I absolutely think that some of these things did happen, and that Lizzo has a different viewpoint of how they actually happened. Just like back in the day, like a couple years ago when Ellen got called out for having a hostile work environment. Mm-hmm. It's like, I think you think one thing, and then the other people there are experiencing something else. But if these things actually did happen, I think they will be damaging to Lizzo's career.
Yeah, so I don't know what's really going on. I know one of the girls, somebody pulled out her, I guess her audition video for another one of Lizzo's shows, and she pretty much was like she was already a dancer, I believe. But then she was trying to be a singer too, or be on the other show. But it seemed like she was like, she really liked Lizzo. So I don't know what. Maybe they went on the trip, and you know how you go on the group trip and people are like, oh, we're going here, we're going here, we're going here. And then some people may not have been really in on it, but they were just like, okay, well, I'm going to go along. And now they're regretting it. I don't know. That's a little extreme, though, because were you made to eat the bananas out of the thing? Or did you like just...
They were made.
That's like not an accident. Like, it's
like you were. And then another thing said that she was forced to.
If you tell me that's going on over there, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna be over here. She didn't feel comfortable
going. She soiled herself at practice one day because she didn't feel comfortable going to the bathroom. It was like, you got to know that's getting ready to happen.
I mean, because either I'm gonna go to the bathroom because I got to use the bathroom, or I'm gonna risk embarrassment of soiling myself and then have to. That's some unnecessary cleanup right there. So I don't know.
I feel like let's wait till all the facts come out. But as far as it starts, it's really...
I think it's isn't the document out? I gotta look for the document.
It's really anybody's... Like, I don't know what happened. I think some of this stuff happened. I don't think that these people are like pulling things out of thin air. But I think that some things were misconstrued, perhaps. But I need to see all the video. I need to see all of the information come out before I stand on either side, because this person right here who's like auditioning for, her name is Alicia. She's auditioning for the next season of Watch Out for the Big Girls. Is the name of the show. And she's like, oh, I'm a dancer already, but I would love to be a singer too, and I want to walk in her footsteps, and she's such an inspiration and all this. And it's like, you didn't have to say all of that. You're auditioning to be in a show now with her. If it's so, it seems a little odd to me.
Is she the one that got fired?
Yeah.
Okay.
It seems a little odd to me that, like, I think that's the one that got fired. This is Alicia. So anyway, I don't even want to say yes for sure because I don't really know. I feel like it is though, because when I looked it up, I was like,
I think so.
But anyway, my thing is, I know certain things with a TV, whatever, but when it comes to you, I'm not trying to shame her either, but I feel like it's a lot more to this that needs to come out before
I'm gonna
really make a determination either way.
I thought I saw like some something else on it too. I gotta look into it deeper, but
this is crazy. We're not even really gonna talk about this.
Savage Hernandez.
I just want to, you know what? This is gonna be relevant later. Let me just touch on this briefly. Jocelyn Hernandez got booked on 2 felony charges. Thank you, TMZ, very much for bringing us this news. She was at a fight at the Floyd
Savage
right?
Hernandez. That's what I'm talking
Oh
about.
my gosh. And she was resisting arrest. There was all this footage of her being like wild. And look at this horrible mugshot. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, everybody. I didn't even want to ruin your night. But anyway, there's a lot that's going on here, and I feel like I knew for sure. And I don't have any evidence, but I just know that she had to be high out of her mind doing all this.
She looks.
I don't know that for sure, guys.
Looks,
I'm just
it
the
looks like in
congregation
that
talking.
mugshot.
That's just wild to me. But like, I just wanted to show that because it is a little relevant to something that we're going to talk about a little, well, right now actually. When you go and do things and you don't have anything to lose and you're like, I'm just about it. I'm here. I'm going to do this thing. You're putting yourself in a position where you don't know what's about to happen, but you're just going to be a participant of it. So if somebody pulls out a gun and it now becomes a shooting, whether you get shot or not, now you're a part of that event. And so when you come up with that sort of like unmeasured energy, right? It's just like you're just ready for anything to happen. And then if somebody gets stabbed or something in the process and you were there, it's like you're okay with that. It's like we gotta just calm down. I just saw something so disturbing. This is not on our show, on our list, but there are these people who are, like being killed, or they call it what, like unalived or something on the internet. And we're getting so normalized to watching people like get shot and die on the internet, or like we all watched that George Floyd video way too many times. That was way past healthy. We shouldn't have done that. But I mean, it was everywhere. You know what I mean? But it's just like we all have that burned in our memories.
I personally didn't watch that.
Okay. So there's other things that happen too.
Though, but
I saw this.
I don't want to see nobody.
Personally, what I'm talking about specifically, right? And specifically, I just saw something last week where this young man, these two young men were like in a brawl or altercation or whatever. One of them had a handgun and one of them had like a machine gun, it looked like, or a shotgun or something. And they were circling each other back and forth in the parking lot. And it ended up with one of them shot the other one, and you could see him pass away right before your eyes. And somebody was recording it, and it was on social media. And I remember when like all those riots and things were happening, and really, I was learning a lot from the one person that you had put me on to, who was just going around in the streets of like Memphis or Minnesota or something like that.
Oh, in Minneapolis. It was the Life with GQ. He has like a what do they call them cars? A Hellcat. But when that George Floyd thing happened, he lived there, and he was like filming all like the whatever the National Guards were doing, the police were doing. He had his camera and he was out there driving around and stuff like that. And sometimes when they weren't supposed to be driving around, he was walking around like looking at the fires they were setting, all the stuff they wasn't showing on the news, he was showing. So that's why I was like really engrossed in that or whatever.
Like, here's the thing. I appreciate that type of on the ground information, especially if something's happening in your town. But like people, when they show people like leaving their bodies, it's really odd. But like that's what we're just getting used to anyway. My point in bringing that up was that I think it was last weekend. We saw this sort of, I guess it was a video from Janelle's phone. Janelle from Ready to Love, and she was showing us her pulling up at Kat's condo or whatever apartment or wherever she lives or wherever I don't even know if that was her apartment, but it seemed to be because she asked the doorman, like, she said her name, the Kat's name, and told the guy her name. And I guess she was waiting for Kat to come downstairs. I don't even know if Kat is even on this. Oh, we have to do better.
She might not be on there because she was the curveball.
She was the add-on. But anyway, we could just look at, what Janelle has for us to see. Actually, Janelle did a whole live. And what's crazy is, I was watching some of it. That joke was funny, though. Let me tell you why. Because I learned a couple things about Janelle that night. Like,
let me know what you learned. Meanwhile, Monique said that she's muted. She said that she hasn't been able to comment in a while. I don't know where to look at because we never blocked anybody. Monique probably got us blocked. Like what's happening, Monique? It's like, no, I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but Ellen said, she said, hi. Hi, Monique. I don't know what's going on.
How come I can't see him?
Well, I don't see her in there, but she did tell me herself that she was trying to comment and couldn't comment, but I don't know why she wouldn't be able to comment. But anyway, I'm gonna work on that over here and see what's going on because I don't know. But
listen, here's my thing. What
did you learn about Janelle? First of all, let me just remind you that you thought that it was cute for Janelle to be talking to Kira like she was, right? You're like, I liked what she did.
Did I say that?
You said you either said I liked what she did, and I said you liked the fact that she was da-da-da-da. Either you say I like what she did, or you was like I didn't have a problem with it, or whatever.
Maybe I didn't have a
Turns out I feel like she is a bully, but go ahead. You tell me.
Yeah,
what you
I do think she's a bully, but I do think she's great for TV. When she makes these faces and she does this thing, and I feel like she's okay with being like sort of like a villain.
She's a Gemini, so I kind of get it.
But she definitely thinks very highly of herself. Now I have this thing where me and one of my good friends, we always say like, you remember when you were younger as Black women, you're younger and you know you have these people around you when you're in school, and it's like a bad thing to like think you're all that. It's just like, but what if you are? You know what I'm saying? And you know it. Like, are you supposed to act like you're not? So I get this thing with her where she just feels like, well, I'm established and I have my shit together and people should treat me accordingly. And I think that I understand what that mindset is, but the way that she talks to people and talks down about people gives me a little bit more on top of that. Like, I can understand her coming from a perspective of like, people should have this much respect for me and held me this highly or whatever. But like, it's a little more... It's a little more sinister than that. I took that from an interview that somebody did on Kanye. I think it was like Matt Lauer or something. Well, with her, it's a little more sinister than that because she tries to act like, people say this all the time, like, well, we didn't have any beef and da 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 da. Like these things that she's doing right now, it's like she knows her face. She actually has a beauty line, so she does a good job with her makeup. She knows that she looks good, so she makes these faces, but she also makes these statements that I feel like she belittles people and she can hurt feelings really quickly. And I think she's really sharp-tongued, and I feel like, you know, she really borderline. She like showed me exactly who she was in that, and it also made me realize like what could have possibly happened as to why Tequila was so bothered by her. And I think she's one of those people who is real slick at the mouth, and then you don't really have an opportunity to address it, but you feel slighted and you feel disrespected, and that's a dangerous place to put people on, because then they feel like they are having to you almost got that. They feel like they're having to come back and explain themselves a bunch of times because it's almost like she took something from Tequila. Right? But I do think that she's, you know, listen, Janelle, she's a beautiful lady. She's well, you know, I don't say she's well to do. I don't know what that even came from. She has a couple of businesses happening. I think she's a successful woman. That's great. But I think she doesn't understand how her attitude comes off. I think she probably has a lot of self-awareness, but she just doesn't see what's actually coming off. And for that, you know, there's a price to be paid for that. But I mean, she's very well put together, very well spoken. But in this particular situation where she went to somebody's house, it could have turned into a Jocelyn Hernandez situation.
She completely snapped. Okay. I mean, but she took accountability for it. So I was like, all right, but she did expose herself a lot on here and kind of reveal what kind of person she really is. Because I feel like the show, we only about to be on episode 5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's like before the show even started, she was already saying the like people was upset with her or whatever. She was already talking about like people was jealous of her or whatever. And it's like, we haven't even started watching the show, so we don't know what you're talking about. And then I think in her, I want to say it was in this live, she said something about Mod Afro Mama.
Oh yeah,
she always has something to say, but it's like, lady, I don't know if you know, but like this isn't the only season of Ready to Love, and like every season, the vloggers that review and comment on people, you know what I mean? So,
I didn't like the way she addressed that either, and I kind of looked at that as like her not understanding. There's two things happening here.
Mhm.
Number one, I think you can address people in a respectful way, but she goes the extra mile to just like twinge on disrespect.
Mhm.
And I think that's something that I've picked up from her as like a trend. Like she'll just go that extra little mile to just let you know that like, oh yeah, I'm coming for you, right? And so I felt that when she did that with when she was talking to or she was talking to bloggers in general, she was like, sure, you can review the show, right? But it's just
Mhm.
like it almost sounded like it was beneath her.
Yeah,
and that's how she comes
That's
up.
the thing that cracks me up though, because like it's an opportunity for everyone. Like we're doing our thing, reviewing the show, but it's also helping the show because there's a lot of people who don't care to know anything else than what was on the TV. Like they don't care.
Who would have known about it, but they stopped watching.
Wouldn't have known about it if it wasn't for some of the bloggers. Like a lot of people will tell you they found the show through people they watch on YouTube. So it's like, your anger is misplaced. You're mad because of what's been aired and all your full story hasn't been aired. But people are talking about what you agreed to do. Yeah. Even though you didn't know what was going to happen, you're mad at the people who are discussing what they've been shown versus being mad at the people who put the shit together. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to have an opinion off of seeing something on TV. Reacting. And if you would like to explain, that's cool. But understand, a lot of people that are watching the show, they aren't online looking for extra information. They're just taking what they show about you on TV, and they're making, like mommy. She's making her assumption based off of what she saw on the television. She's not thinking about what happened behind the scenes until she watches our show or watching somebody's recap or whatever. So it's like the anger is misplaced. You know what I mean? Because what are you doing? You know what I mean? And then when they do things like this, like it's the middle of the season, we're in the middle of the season, and here you are explaining stuff and going on, but then you don't want to tell everything, but you want to say this. Like, girl, either say it or not. You know what I'm saying? Either sit back and just watch the show and don't participate in it, or say what you got to say, because we're going to keep talking about it. For sure. And the thing is, you're not going to like what everybody says. Some people are civil when they review the show, but it's a lot of savages out here, and you got to deal with the good and the bad. And those savages are going to keep savaging. You know what I'm saying? So this probably didn't help. It, like you said, it kind of exposed her a little bit more, because it's kind of like what people already saw on the show. You know what I'm saying? Just like her friend, Habibi. Oh, God. We get ready to get into it in a second. I got so much to say about this dude. But listen, let me just close out on this real quick, because I think, and even when we go into that, this could apply to both of them, because there's this thing that happens where, when you're on camera, oh, no, he just ate that piece of popcorn. I don't know how to get it back, but he ain't supposed to be. Crunch that, Joan. It's done. All right, so hopefully he doesn't throw up or nothing. It wasn't a lot, right? No, it's just one kernel, but I heard it crunch and I knew that's what it was. Yeah, he's fast. So here's what. I think there's this thing that happens when you're on camera, especially when you don't see the footage before it's posted and you don't have a chance to react to it. What happens is, there's sometimes where you got misquoted or somebody production put something out of sequence where they show a face that's reacting to something that happened in another scene. Now that's outwardly, detached. It's not really happening. But some of these things are happening real time, and people are saying, right, that are on the show, like, that wasn't a clear representation of me because I'm not like that. But this is your opportunity to see that you are like that. See, but you have to be open to that. But go ahead. One of the things that she kept saying over and over in this is talking about, in this live that she did, was talking about how people were so bothered by her. And look, some of it was weird because, like, why are you on her live if you're just here to just like put stuff in the chat, the table? Like, I don't understand that, but I do understand why people didn't like you.
You know what I'm saying? When you have to film together and you have these viewpoints that you really can't hide. Like, she wants to act like she's not judging anybody and this and that, but we can all see exactly who you are. That's the one thing that people don't realize when they're trying to like pretend and be like, oh, but I'm not like that at all. It's just like, but you forgot we can see you though. And that's what I'm going to say about Habibi too. But like, she really showed parts of herself on this live that she probably wouldn't have meant to show, because we can see that you're condescending. We can see that you can be slightly slick mouthed and perhaps disrespectful and get away with it because you're so well, like, you're so practiced in doing that, clearly, right? Like, she kind of threw some daggers and some jabs that were like, ooh, like heavy shade.
Yeah, but okay, so just like with the Habibi thing, I lose patience with people who just don't want to come out and say stuff. Like, I ain't got a whole bunch of time to sit there and watch you drop little crumbs. Like, she was like, two guys might not be truthful about their sexuality and this, that, and the other. Like, girl, either you gonna say it or not. Like, I'm not gonna come back to too many lives looking for it, because I've already, like, I've seen enough. You know what I'm saying?
With this cast, I'm learning that there's a difference between productions, edits, and being sort of like misunderstood, misinterpreted, and you just showing who you actually are without having
Which is why it benefits a lot of people to just sit back and chill and watch what happens. Like, who did a great job of doing that, but I know it was so hard for them?
Who?
P.O. P.O. wanted to say a lot during their season. You could tell he wanted to say a lot, but he was like, you know what? I'm going, he did get on at first, but then he pulled back. But, it's like, you cannot run behind every episode and explain everything. You'll be exhausted. You can't do that. It's just not possible. You know what I mean? And the more you do it, you're engaging now, and now you feel like you have to defend yourself. So I feel like it's good for people to just sit back, let the show play out, see what happens. If you want to do one of those interviews while the season's going on, that's totally up to you. But I feel like the people who sit back and watch it play out and then do their post interviews, I feel like they fare a little bit better because they get to take in what they've saw, see what they've seen, they get to process it, and then they can go on and give the people the side that they want to give them. Because otherwise you risk making yourself look really foolish. And for me, like, Janelle and Habibi are people that I would just kind of be like, okay, well, all right, and then I wouldn't really even engage anymore, because it's like I don't have time to keep going back and forth or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When we get into Habibi, I'll give you my thoughts on that, whatever. But much love to Janelle. Hopefully everything works out. But like, if somebody makes you pull up to somebody else, like to their house, that's dangerous. That's dangerous as hell, because I wish you would come to my house. Like, why would you come to my house?
That's
why
dangerous.
And it ends go to somebody's. That's crazy. That's crazy. So anyway, I don't have nothing. That's dangerous, and it can end up like this. And you too old for that. You know, it can end up like this. Come on now. Where you literally have walked into a situation where Jocelyn Hernandez is in it. You have no idea. I mean, it don't even got to be that. It could be. It's not even like her. But somebody could shoot your ass. Somebody could shoot you, or you could just end up in a situation just like, how the hell did I get here? What is happening? Right? And it's just like, we're not doing that. Especially Janelle with her successful businesses and her all this stuff. It's just like, you have more to lose. So why are you doing that? It's weird. Yeah. All right. Listen, now we're going to go to this one. Am I showing the rights about? Listen, freaking Tyrone. I mean, not Tyrone. Travis. Travis. We're about to talk about Travis, y'all. Let's talk about Travis. Travis. And here's the thing. I realize now a lot of things make sense after. Okay, let me start here. We watched an interview with Crystal XO, and I had actually missed the first 20 minutes of it at least, and I tuned in later. But what I noticed was that the interview wasn't really going as you would describe, like she was doing a good job of asking questions, but he was like sort of disengaged. It was really quite odd. And there was a point where she had to like check him and be like, listen, I used to do PR, and for some reason this is hard. Obviously he didn't do his research. Listen, I have a lot to say about him, and I want you to be able to sound off. Go ahead, you go. I have so much. So anyway, let me start. Let me go back. We watched Crystal XO interview him,
and we watched him show his whole entire church boy ass. And then I watched this other blog, this lady called 10 Years Married 10 Years, something like that. And I really do like her channel. Sometimes she can be harsh though. And so I wouldn't say some of the things she says, but I also understand where her thoughts are and where she's coming from. So
she
like,
is real blunt.
while I wouldn't say some of the things she said, I would have some of those thoughts. But she kind of, she was going, and I couldn't find the actual interview because I was looking for it. Because I saw the one with the interview with the guy, with the one with the man. And see, here's the thing about manipulators, and that's the first name that I'm going to call him, but that is not the last. The manipulating people of our planet, they, especially male species, they cannot do that shit in front of other men. So one way to really check somebody is to take him around another man when it, and see how he act then, because he was really, I ain't gonna, I think he was disrespectful to Crystal, and and I felt like he was comfortable in that. And part of the thing, and I'm not going to villainize him, but he really looked like a hurt little boy, if I'm being honest.
I got that too.
Very immature. He, and let me just go all the way into my fucking rant now. It's Kanye time, everybody. This shit right here. And I don't know what his intentions are, but the fact that he didn't show all the way up as himself is already just a pink and red flag, almost like the colors that he's wearing right now. He's wearing the actual fucking red flag that one should see when approaching this nigga. This is fuckboy 101. Okay? This guy, this is the type of dude that you run into that gives you his number. You don't even know his real name. His name is Travis. He done told you his name was Habibi. He had on a pink blazer when I met him. Like, what the hell? And he has a whole different persona. He's done built this whole wall up. I can only imagine and assume that because he never showed up as his full self, that he's some hurt person who was very, who was protecting himself. He's built a whole persona. Okay, this is what's dangerous, and that's why I call it fuckboy 101, because anybody who's watching this who might be a fuckboy and not know it, because I don't think he knows it. I think he thinks, well, I'm intelligent inside, I'm thoughtful inside, but that's not what you're presenting. You're presenting Habibi. What? That's not even your name, dog. I don't know what your color, your hair color, or your eye color is. If I had to give a description to the police that you were missing, we don't even know where to start. You're like, you made up a whole person and you're showing up as this person. It's like the dog in the suit. Okay. And the women who come around and all the people who come around that see that you're not a real, what you're dressed up as, really, are confused. They don't really know what to do with that. I'm not saying anything about anybody on the show, but he said something in one of the interviews about people being low vibrational. And the idea that you are judging someone in a made-up persona, it's ridiculous to me. It screams selfish. It screams immature. It's like, these are the things, and I hope that people see this, that are fuckboys, because I don't think he even understands what he's doing, but like, you've literally made up a whole entire person. You're disrespectful. I was so disgusted when Crystal asked him about whether he said that, and he was like, I plead the fifth. It's like, I don't know. Are you capable of saying something like that? Like, why are we playing these games? What he followed up with
was even more ridiculous. And he basically, to me, I took that as an admission when he said that, and then he proceeded to comment on the size of her. I was like, okay.
As if that were enough. That's weird.
Yeah, he's that dude that, like I said, would not get that much attention because once a person that is smart and intelligent picks up on the fact that you playing around, I ain't got time. But he basically said that was an act. He's doing it for the clout. You know what I'm saying? He does know how to play. I do give him props for that saxophone. He can play the shit out the saxophone. I'll give him that. As an ex-saxophone player, I'll give him that. But I did find it interesting that he couldn't say...
oh yeah,
what was the word that he couldn't say?
He was... I know exactly what you're talking about. It was a place.
Oh, St. Lucia. Was it St. Lucia or was it Turks and Caicos? It was Turks and Caicos. I did take issue with that because you said you know how to read in Arabic and stuff, right?
He was talking all over the place.
But my thing is, as a person who we used to know how to read Arabic, you know what I'm saying? I feel like that was whack that he couldn't pronounce Turks and Caicos, but you speak Arabic, okay. But he can't play the saxophone. I give him props for that. But it's just immature to come on TV and play this kind of character, because I feel like a lot of people play characters, but to be the disrespectful character, and that's what you want to be known at, but then you mad that people are assuming who you are or assuming what kind of person you are. I feel like that's whack to me. Like, what are you doing?
He's playing games, and so this is what I think he doesn't really understand, because one of the things I recognize from the interview with Crystal XO is that he was not trying to take accountability for nothing he said.
Nothing.
It was like, oh, we're moving forward. Oh, we're focused on this. We're focused on positivity. And at one point, he was like mocking her for like, because she had paused, because she probably was trying to be like,
did you see her face?
She probably was thinking to herself, what?
Her face
in the world is happening?
Crystal could
and
not.
He was like, next question.
I feel like she could not believe that he was doing that.
Oh,
she
so
was probably thinking of how to get out of this right now.
Back to like a watchable thing. Like, she must have known that, like,
she was just
is
this
watchable, because she probably was experiencing in her own emotions like how ridiculous the conversation was. But even that, she probably had considered it. I wasn't even looking at the comments because I knew I was going to get distracted, and I was cooking dinner at the time. But like, here's the thing.
He come out when he took them glasses off, though.
Now, when she asked
glasses on, he got mad.
When she asked him about his music and about himself, then he got really excited about talking. And this just shows, these are the signs of a self-centered person. It's like he doesn't want to talk about anything. All of a sudden, he doesn't care. He doesn't give a fuck. He kept saying that over and over. And when somebody says it over and over like that, I just believe to myself that they don't believe it. Because, like, why do you keep saying that you don't care? You don't care.
I actually typed that in the chat. He cares too much. That's the problem.
Yeah.
He really cares about what people think. Because
he can't handle it.
Yeah, I don't think he can handle it. But he's the one that came. He started this. This is self-inflicted. Look, you came in.
Let him tell it, though. Now, let's talk about this. Let him tell it. She's like, well, how did you come across the show? Like, what made you want to join the cast? And he was like, they wanted me. They called me. But no.
Later,
listen.
He said he came to find love.
He said that was the reason he came. But the idea that, like, somebody offers you something, you still have to accept it based on your terms. Obviously, you felt like it was something you could get out of this, but you're doing it all fucked up, because you can't say you don't care, but then you're here. If you didn't care, you wouldn't be here. Actually, this is so ironic. When we started the show, I talked about Ladies Who List, which is a show about these realtors in Atlanta, and they're all fabulous. And I think the show aired last year or maybe the year before. But these women are all fabulous Black women. One of them decided that she didn't like the way it was going. And she was like, I'm done here. And she didn't show up to the reunion. And she didn't show up. She didn't do any promo. She didn't post about it. She just went on with her life. All her posts are about her real estate. If that were the case, she literally did not care. Right, that was like one of the first times I've seen that before in Real Housewives, actually, where somebody just like deleted themselves. But like, if he didn't really care, why are you promoting your new place, your new club? Why are you on this interview? Why are you out here? Like, obviously you do care. And the thing is, like, you're leaving your legacy every day. This is what you want to leave behind. He talked about family. He talked about all these things. I don't even think he knows.
He's a ridiculous person to me. Anybody I'm sorry, I just don't. I can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I was in a place with a whole bunch of dudes and he was in there talking, I wouldn't even be interested to go see what he was talking about. I thought I heard a couple of words. Okay, you know, it was Lee with the T. I gotta remind her about this. But me and her went out one time, and we went out to this place in DC, and it was this dude that I think she knew one of the dudes, and then the other guy was his friend or something, but the guy that was his friend was really like Habibi. He was offensive. He was just saying anything or whatever. And I think he liked how the women were reacting to him or whatever. So we stood there for about 30 minutes. I'm just standing there drinking my drink or whatever. And then eventually he was like, he had stood there and told me how he don't buy drinks and he don't do this and he don't do that. Mind you, the whole time I'm just sitting there looking at this thing, I'm like, okay, I don't know. This is one of
I remember you told me about it.
And eventually he was like, you want something to drink? I was like, sure. This nigga don't buy drinks. Okay. But then he ended up telling me all about his problems that he was going through as he was standing there steady drinking throughout the night, and I was just like, he's hurt inside. Whatever it is that he told me that was going on, I gathered it. But the way that he was acting to everybody, he was used to people having outbursts from his outbursts, and when I didn't have an outburst, he was just like, okay, I don't really know how to,
I think he was probably
because it wasn't like we were all just there together, but it wasn't like he was trying to talk to me and nothing like that. We were just there, right? But he was saying things that you could just tell he thought that he was portraying one thing, but all I was saying was like, this Bama is just hurt. You know what I'm saying? But that's how Habibi strikes me. He's disrespectful. Who decides to come on as a character like that? I don't know. I don't really have anything. I would never really watch. Not really. I would never watch another interview with him because I did not like that interview he did with Crystal. He was disrespectful to her. I mean, if Kojo interviews him, I might watch that because I know Kojo is going to not let him slide on a lot of stuff. And plus, he probably does feel some type of way about the way that he acted with Crystal as well. So I would watch that interview. But outside of that, anybody else is going to get into an argument with him. So I'm not even, you know what I'm saying? Because at first he was trying to charge. So I don't know if he charged Crystal. I hope not. And
I don't think so. She said she didn't pay.
Kojo said he ain't paying shit either. So,
and you know what? I'm not glad.
Even interested to know anything.
I had reached out. I was thinking like, yeah, we're not going to pay that fee, but if you want to come talk. But I'm so glad that bullet was not meant for me because I felt so bad for Crystal while she was sitting there trying to like pull conversation out of somebody who is so entitled and selfish.
Okay, good.
And the idea that he doesn't care. It's so odd to me. Like, I just keep going back to that because, like, this is a really good lesson for women out there and even men who might not realize that, like, you show up in certain ways because, like, this guy is a whole character. He's got a whole disguise on. When I really went back and looked at it, I was like, well, damn. Like, he's really fronting out here. And he just is protecting something. Somebody hurt him. Somebody touched him in a place that is just so unbearable. He can't even go back and address the past. When Crystal brought those things up, he could not even like stand up like a man and address them. It was just like, oh, we got to move on to the next thing. He's so afraid to look at that.
To control the interview. And
well, yeah, he does that by being disrespectful.
I think he thought, women. Yeah, but he thought probably that he was going to get Crystal to react. And when she didn't react, she really gets the MVP award for that because I was sitting there like, oh my goodness, like what is he doing? I would have clicked that nigga off. Okay.
You know what? I feel like she probably, all right, look.
Anyway, what are we talking about today?
I felt moments where she felt, I could see in her eyes that she felt a little bit disgusted, but she wanted to be professional. And then she came back on the next day and talked about how she wasn't really, she could see certain things, but she wasn't really trying to say those things. She was trying to have a professional interview. Even and it's like, you can't really call somebody out in the moment and say, like, you're this, I'm diagnosing you. But it was like, even looking at it, I know she must have looked at it back, like, what? And I know her husband must have been burning up watching some of that stuff that he said. And watching his wife go through, like, I think the protective energy in the husband, I feel bad for her husband, too. So shout out to Chris.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're going to be on a show, like, why can't you just be... Right. Because I was going to say, I know my brother would have been like, excuse me. Yeah. But, like, the thing about it is, if you're going to go on a show, like, you really do have to understand. Like, first of all, this is the 8th, 9th, 10th. I don't know what OWN is doing, but it's been enough seasons for people to see what the gist is. Yeah. How does it go? The smart thing to do is to go with the flow, in my opinion, and look for what you can improve on your own, because you're definitely going to see something that you probably haven't seen before, and just in the way you interact with different personalities, I would think, or how could you grow or whatever. Like, I hope Janelle learns a lot. I hope Jeffrey learns something from her season or whatever.
So this is the thing, and let's talk about that for a second, because I think,
but you have to be open to
reflection, and I would imagine that it's not easy. I'm sorry, y'all. I cannot see y'all's comments on screen, but I can see your thing over there that they're going off in the chat. So I'm going to get to this in a second. But, like, one of the things that I realized is that it's probably hard to see yourself in a certain light. And, like, what I liken it to is when you like have a recording machine and you start recording your voice, maybe you're singing or something like that.
Nobody likes to hear themselves.
You're like, that doesn't sound like
yeah.
me. But then the other person is like, no, it sounds exactly like that's how I hear you.
And then I'll just plug it back up.
So I think that's what happens when you're, especially reality TV. But like some of these things, it's a very distinct difference between how you're being edited, meaning, oh, they're asking you to do something several times, and then the 15th time you did it, it didn't come off natural. That's one thing. Or when they're putting your reaction to something in one scene in a whole nother scene. Now that's just that's misuse. I feel like that's like abusive almost. Like you can't do that to somebody, but they do it. But but the other part of it is when you are showing up as yourself and people are calling out what they see, you have to be open to the idea, especially if it's in a number where more than one or two or three people are saying the same thing. You got to look and say, oh, is that true? And I don't think some people are in tune with that.
No, but like I said, there's also something to be said about just sitting back and watching and listening. That's it. Like you don't have to address everything. If you know,
chat or something? I don't know.
If you know, Monique is saying that she can't comment, but she told me that weeks ago.
Nobody is commenting right now. But I see the comments.
I see the comments never
here.
Changed anything, so I don't know what to do. I'm gonna have to look into that.
Blondie Monique said, "Why would someone ask someone to pull up? They were both wrong for sure." I agree with that. They were both wrong. She talked about
I agree that because I wouldn't say that too because that's an invitation. I ain't inviting you nowhere. But for the person who actually pulled up, are you crazy? Don't ever go to nobody's house. That's crazy.
It's wild to me.
What's waiting for you over here?
You better watch a couple episodes of whatever's on the ID channel and then get your life together.
I'm a fighter, but I ain't about to tell you to come to my house.
It would be in defense. It'll be like, okay, if I have to fight, then I'm going to go all out. If I have to fight, I'm not pulling up on nobody. And I'm not judging anybody who lives a different way.
I'm definitely not coming to your house where all your shit is, where all your friends live. Like, what the hell? That don't even make no sense.
I just don't like the idea.
You don't live around people you don't know. You just don't come to somebody's house because that's dangerous for you, and you definitely don't tell nobody to come to your house because there are people who you can't say that to and expect them not to show up. Either way, it's retarded.
Helen said, well, I guess it was we talking about her BB on the mic or the saxophone. She said Lisa Simpson sounds better.
I used to like that.
And then Mocha said, ladies who list, that was Kiana. Yep. I knew that was Kiana Watson. I wasn't going to say, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to say her name because she's. Is
that the one in Atlanta? Does she have the friend named Robin? Is that the one?
Yeah.
Okay. I know what you're talking about.
For sure. So anyway, all right. So the other thing, is it even playing anymore?
Well, yeah, but that's just on the phone, so it don't play.
Okay.
Here.
Well, so she said, ladies who listen, all right. She said that he told her that he charges for interviews. He said that after the interview, Crystal said she didn't pay him anything. This was Blondie that said that.
Okay,
so she paid him.
So yeah, because Blondie, he did a post on his Instagram like before this interview, like way before this interview, saying that he gonna charge $1,000 for 15 minutes. And Kamisha did a live about it, and we were all like, "Ain't nobody paying that." And so that's why I wondered if he charged her because he had already put that post out, but. Nobody cares enough to pay for that, and nobody's paying for that. So I don't care if nobody else interviews him, but like I said, I will watch the Kojo interview if he does because I know that's going to be good.
I thought that was just a deterrent.
But he probably will not interview with Kojo because he's got to be. He can't do that.
He's gonna have to come through real.
He can't.
And the thing about it is,
that on nobody.
He came through real with the guy that was interviewing him, but I also didn't see the whole interview. Mm-hmm. I just saw what was posted on.
But he wasn't playing around.
No, he was being honest because guys can't do that around other guys. They're getting checked.
You're gonna look crazy. Nope. So that's why I said I will watch the Kojo interview. But he's disrespectful to women in my eyes, and now that I've seen him say that it's an act, you meaning to do that. So.
Mocha
your 15 minutes is over in my mind. Bye.
Crystal has a teenage son. She's used to dealing with boys. Yeah, she was very patient.
She was.
She know her husband was pissed. Yes, he was. I agree. That's what Blondie Monique said. I agree. Yeah, because he probably sitting there looking like, I'm going to go say something to that dude. But, it's like part of the job, like.
She probably already had a conversation.
She held her own, and she was just like, I think she even said while she was in the interview, she was like, all right, babe, I'm about to come downstairs, like, chill.
Because he was probably like, I'm about to come up there. Clown. Who is this clown? I'm about to be up there.
I'm about to come up there. I'm about to tell him about himself. But, this is what that one saying from Maya Angelou is about. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Because even though he's not the person that he's personified, like he built a whole character, and I would think he would probably say something silly like, well, a lot of people build alter egos because they're celebrities. And
I'm never even going to hear him say that because
get out of here. Nobody. Not. You did. It's not the legacy.
I think that he thinks that he's something.
That he's not.
Like, here's the thing. I respect him for being the saxophone player that he is. I respect, we actually got a lot in common. I used to work for the DIA as well. I played the saxophone. I know how to speak Arabic. But I just don't understand, like, what he was doing. And to me, I don't hear anything else he has to say. I don't care what show he comes on, because he just kind of already presented himself in a clownish way. Mm-hmm. So for me,
it's a no.
It's a no. There's so many other interesting people on Ready to Love, and I love Ready to Love, and I love to share and all of that, whatever they have going on. Like Leanne has her real estate things, Sabrina Soul doing the missing link, like there's a bunch of them that we continue to follow after the season is over because they're doing something good, and we are, we talked about them on the show. And their time on the show passed, but then they still made an impression because we got to see them be themselves in their post interviews. We got to see them be themselves and outside of Ready to Love. You know what I'm saying? Like Tyrone is doing his thing with the mental health. Sean is doing his thing. It's like I said, you are putting yourself in a bad position because when people like the vloggers that review the show, when you treat them bad, then you kind of cut yourself off of something you don't even know, because like we continue to share things that people have going on. And it's not just us, but we continue to share things that people have going on. We purchased from people's businesses and things like that. I bought some beard oil from Clifton. You already know I did that. Yeah. Carmen in Clifton. I got my Thought Job shirt, but I'm waiting to wear that because I don't know how Red gonna act the rest of the season. I gotta see before I put myself in that shirt. But my point is, you are shitting on people who could possibly support you while you bullshitting. You know what I'm saying?
For what?
If you already got it popping, then why did you need to go onto a show to promote or clout chase if you already got enough people coming to your shows or whatever? Like, what are you even doing then? You know what I'm saying?
But even if you didn't need the show, now that you're on, this is
a chance to, as a business owner, if every opportunity you get to get in front of somebody else's audience is a chance to grow your own audience, that i.e. then becomes your it turns into money eventually. Yeah. So what are you doing?
Well,
What are you doing?
He obviously did not understand the assignment because he literally,
obviously he has enough people in the shows. Obviously, he has enough people
to
share
but then shit. Why come on here? Now you're defaming yourself.
But that's what contradicts, because you come on here and then you say, I don't care, but we really know you do care. And we're trying to say, listen, just be yourself so that you can continue to grow your brand, because this right here is ridiculous to me.
He was so against being accountable that he just flubbed it all up. All he got to do, look, I'll just give him the prescription right now. Shaba. Also, if you're watching, I want you to know this, Travis. We see right through you. You've created this facade of a human being so that you can show up and feel protected.
Like you're 12.
You don't need to be protected. Whoever harmed you is no longer, you just speak it and it's real. They're no longer allowed to harm you. You just need to show up as yourself, because this is your legacy. All these people who are seeing you, like, first of all, and this is to Janelle too, when you look down on people like, it's a show, this is a part of my life. I wouldn't know who you were if you didn't join this show. So obviously you're getting something out of it.
Some exposure.
Don't look down on the people who are experiencing the show and making their,
like I said, it's misplaced anger. You're not
Come
really
on,
mad at
guys.
us because we didn't make up the footage. You're mad at the way that OWN portrays you, and now you got to explain yourself. Please direct that over
and
there.
This is like we all have lives. We're all valuable. Like nobody's saying you're not, a human being, but it's like don't go out there and do the most trying to protect yourself and catch yourself in a situation where you're not even representing who you really are.
Right.
And so it's like it's a such thing as overshooting it. That's all. But so unlike Habibi, I do have some respect for Janelle. I do not have any respect for Habibi. Listen, we all saw Habibi need to just go back and button it up and just rebirth because
Habibi is the only one that kind of
Travis.
Okay, Habibi is the only one that I'm kind of just like I said. At a certain point, after like 10 seconds, I cut off. I'm over here. It's something else, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody else, I'll give them a chance because I do know that we don't see everything. I do understand that there are other things working behind the scenes or whatever. We're just giving our opinion on what we see. Mm-hmm. And then as the season plays on, a lot of times my opinion has changed by the end of the show because I'm like, oh, that's what happened. I get to watch the interviews, but that is how it's supposed to play out. When you come and intervene and start to try to explain every episode, then we get to make our decisions earlier, and it kind of, it conflates it conflates a lot of things or whatever. But yeah, like I said, I don't got time for nothing Habibi said. But if Kojo interviews him, I will watch it.
I will definitely watch
I know
that.
It's going to be good. But he's disrespectful, and nobody got time for that. But it was something else that you said that I wanted to piggyback on, but I can't remember now.
Well, I'll tell you just one more time. Well, not even that, but like obviously he's protecting himself from something. He's, I don't know if he was hurt before. He talked about a previous relationship, but I just feel like, you really can't even grow if you're not showing up as yourself. What's the point in showing up as not even like a made up individual? You've imagined a whole nother persona that you're showing up as. You can't even like enjoy life and have experiences and say, oh, I learned from this person. And now the people.
You can just say, I acted stupid on TV and
just get through it. The people who have encountered you from this experience only have this to go off of. And why would you present yourself that way? It's such a weird thing.
It would seem, I guess to me, it seems like a lot of work to undo. Because I did question the women who, remember when we were reviewing like the first, I think the first episode,
I know
people
what
were
you're
like,
say.
When I say, oh, people said that he was cool.
That he was
maybe
cool.
We're not saying that.
Sure.
It made me question those people a little bit because I was like, well, maybe it's something that they seen behind the scenes. But after I saw him with Crystal, I said, nah, because
I think they probably didn't see that side.
They had to because we saw that side on camera a little bit.
But I think some people probably didn't have all the experiences that he had with some of the women. And I think Tequila is a perfect example because I think he manipulated Tequila and I think she was going so hard for him. I actually think that she was in that live as a different name and then kicked out and then rejoined as a different name. And I'll tell you, I do believe that she was in Janelle's live. I believe that was you, Tequila. I think you were in the comments.
What was happening in the comments?
I'll talk to you after. But, that's an
accusation. Okay, how did you gather that?
Because whoever it was kept bringing up Habibi. And I was like, why though?
Could it have been Habibi?
No, because he's a horrible communicator. He needs help with communication. Because even though he might have some really insightful things that he wants to say, he's not able to find the words.
How crazy is it for you to create a name?
Well, people do it.
I definitely know people do it all the time, but like I couldn't do. My bad, buddy. I couldn't do it because I would feel like, damn, why can't I come as myself to say whatever I gotta say as myself?
Well, I think the idea might have been that she would have gotten prejudged. But first of all, the things that she was saying, like if you notice, there were two people in the chat that were just gunning for her. It's one thing as a viewer to be like, oh, she seems a little mean. Right, but you're not going to be in the chat like
I was
not
really paying attention to the chat. I was cooking and I was listening.
She kept deleting people. She was like, she only deleted like maybe 2 or 3 people, but she was just like, let me help you out. Because imagine you being on my live, but the person was really going in on her in a personal way.
Mm.
And when I realized that person got deleted and then another person entered saying the same shit, I was like, who would do this? But they're asking about her
See, that's the thing, right?
So that's why I assumed that it was her. So now I've since said it.
That's why
I am trying to be. Listen, I don't think that it's a good idea. Listen, I gotta talk to you about this.
Crazy.
I don't know if I could ever interview any of these people because I feel like I'm just gonna speak my mind, and it might not be comfortable, especially after seeing Habibi's disrespect to Crystal XL. I don't even know how I would respond to something like that. It would be real. It would be like, well, what are you even here for?
I wouldn't even say that. I would look at that Bama.
I don't know how that would work. I don't know
if
I don't even know if that's something that is.
And I would go on to somebody else
in the cards for us because that's weird. Like I would.
What's in the cards for us to talk to him?
I mean, no, not to him. I'm just saying.
I don't want
to certain cast members. Like I just can't. I don't have a filter of like. I do. I can have some decorum, but certain things is just like I don't even know how to address them other than what's up with this. You know what I'm saying?
Because listen, that's what I'm saying. They have to understand. And a shout out to the cast members from Ready to Love across all seasons that realize this, because they have to understand that people are going to comment on what they see. That is what a reviewer does. You know what I'm saying? So for you to get, like I said, you know what? I'm not going to repeat it. It's misplaced anger. You're mad that the network showed a piece of something that you now feel like you have to come explain, which nobody said you had to, but it's that burning feeling of wanting to say something that somebody doesn't know. So you come and be like, well, you don't even know this, but guess what? It still doesn't hit me. It still doesn't hit me the way you think it would, because guess what? We're not even supposed to know that. We're just watching the show. So what you add is extra. We appreciate it
for sure.
But we wouldn't even have the show to watch if you weren't go and agree to do it. So that's why I feel like the anger is misplaced. Like,
it definitely
don't get mad at me because I drew a conclusion with what I was given, and just because you know what happened, okay, it still doesn't change anything, because like you're supposed to know you were there. But you got to decide whether you're going to come out and say everything you're supposed to say, or are you just going to sit back and let things play out? And I know people get brutal. I know some of these commentators, reviewers, people that do recaps. I know. I watch it, and my mouth drops sometimes when they say the things they say.
It's kind of hard.
But as with everything, there's a good part and there's a bad part. So you have to try to ignore the parts that are the people that are going to trigger you. If somebody's going to trigger you with their commentary, then you probably shouldn't watch them, because they're still going to do their commentary, because there's a show that's on that we watch every season and we review. Not us specifically, but people, like this is a thing that we do or whatever. And nobody's above going back on whatever they said in the beginning if they're wrong. Like who was I wrong about? I was wrong about Tyrone. I was dead wrong about Tyrone on the first season in DC. I had to tell him that in person that I got it wrong because of what I saw. Tyrone. I'm not above that, and a lot of other fellow commentators are not well. You know, are not like that as well. Like it is what it is. If you say something and you're interpreting it, then you just go back and change it. But it's like, don't come out so hard at the vloggers from what they're getting from.
We're just reacting.
You know? So you got one or two choices. You're gonna sit back and you're gonna watch the show and just let it play out before you speak, which is what I suggest, because if not, you'll be fucking responding all season. Or you can be one of those people like Aries. Aries was on Mr. Sabrina Soul show yesterday, I think it was.
Okay, yeah.
And she commented on what she could, and she didn't say, obviously they were trying to catch her up a little bit, but you just have to decide what you're going to do. Well, obviously she didn't do anything that she needs to defend, but if you find yourself in a situation where you feel like you need to defend yourself, then you got a decision to make, because you have to realize that it's not our fault that we saw what we saw on TV.
Right, and some of it is something that you created and played into.
Yeah,
and that was my real beef with. That's not even a beef, but it was my real sort of discomfort with with Shaba is the fact that like you got a whole different name. We don't even know what your hair looks like. Like we couldn't even give an accurate description to the detective if we needed to. You came as a whole different person in a disguise. Mm-hmm. And now you're trying to say, let's move on. It's like, no, address some of the things that you produced into the environment. Like these aren't made up things. Don't gaslight and say, and that's why I call him out as fuckboy 101, because it's like this idea that we need to, people need to understand that when you put out a facade and then people pick it up, it's not the people who picked it up fault that you're out here looking crazy like a clown because you did that. You know what I'm saying?
All I have to say is I feel like the smarter move is just let the show play out.
Yeah,
listen, you were on the show. The episodes are going to air regardless of what you do. Just let the show play out. If it triggers you, if you're a person that can like get in with it, like Sabrina from Ready to Love the first season, Sabrina Soul.
Yeah,
she was able to. She picked who she watched. She was watching and she was listening. She was correcting what she needed to. She was like, she would leave little comments in places or whatever, but she did not like go and be like, oh, this. Like it's like you just gotta sit and chill
and see what.
And
happens.
then when she had her post interviews, we learned everything that we needed to learn. And she kept dignity and grace. And she's not the only one that did that.
Yeah.
But like when you have these, like Samson. I feel like Samson was doing that last season, or the season that he was on in Miami. He was trying to get in front of what he thought was going to be aired or what he thought people was going to think. And it backfired on him. It backfired on him.
He was such a manipulator.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why even we as the reviewers, we have to be careful because we start out, I like this person. I like that person. I like this person. And then 2-3 episodes down, this person done pissed me off. And I'm like, oh my God, how could I ever even be thinking about like liking that person on the show? But like we even have to come back sometimes and be like, okay, it's a show. If it's for entertainment, sit back and let us talk and watch the show. Yeah. Direct your anger to OWN. And there we have it. Because it's not worth it to get into back and forth and engage about things that that we don't know. It's like, it's a moot point to me. Like, get ready for your post interview and show what you want to show. Don't do like Habibi and be an ass. But, I don't know. That's just my 2 cents or whatever, because I'm going to watch the show regardless. I'm going to review the show regardless. And it helps to have little pieces of information, but it's not required. I'm still gonna review the show based on what they show. That's what I'm saying. Like it's like you can't. I don't know. I'm beating the dead horse at this point, but that's all I have to say about it. Habibi, he needed to be out of there. So glad he's gone because he's disrespectful. After I saw him do that to Crystal, I don't want to have nothing else to do with him unless he's interviewed by Kojo. Janelle, I'm gonna see how everything plays out. I feel like Janelle fell victim to her emotional side as far as like letting somebody trigger her enough to get her to video herself going to their house.
That was wild. You took a video of yourself almost as like proof. But anyway, it was unbecoming. It was not going to do that. That is not what we're aspiring to do. It's like if somebody could. Listen, this is social media, and I know you want to like do certain things. If you're going to do something in the dark, that's one thing. But like, nobody should be able to like pull that up on their phone. Like
that's why I feel like it's an emotional response.
Yeah, if something would have happened in that house, like let's say you didn't have anything to do with it, and somebody like overdosed or something in her apartment. Now there's footage of you having something to do with that house.
I wasn't even going to say anything like that. But what I will say is,
I don't know.
I tell you to come to my house
with no drama.
You come to my house. I could have had all my little hitters or whatever. Hey, she about to pull up. As soon as she pull up, get her ass. Right? So I'm in my condo chilling. You know what I'm saying? And you outside thinking you hot shit, recording or whatever, and somebody done got the drop on your ass because you're freely, really
filming
walking
Kim
in
Kardashian.
Like that to me says a lot. without saying a lot,
I
but
didn't mean to call you Kim Kardashian.
but I just did not understand it. I don't know what's wrong with the comments actually.
I don't know either, but we're about to round this thing on out anyway.
You don't see that one, do you?
No, nothing's showing past 8:55.
Okay.
So go ahead and speak them out loud.
So let me see. Okay, well, Mocha says he's presented himself as a jackass talking about Habibi, I'm sure. And she said Red is going home tomorrow. I think so too. I think so too. And then Ellen agreed with Mocha. She said, Mocha, he did. Mocha said, Faith said Shabibi. And then Ellen said he's a culture appropriator. He's a ridiculous person. Shout out to Ish J Dub though, because Ish J Dub has appropriated his costume. I love that. I like it on Ish J Dub better.
It's funny. Yeah.
Shout out to him for that. Ellen B said walking around like it's Halloween every day. I don't like that. Yeah, like what are you doing? You're grown.
What are you doing, sir?
And then Mocha said, I can't. Now he's Shaba. Blondie Monique says, I think some of them befriend the bloggers to get them not to say anything bad about them just in case. Okay, I do think that happens as well. But I think the most of the time that they do that, they don't verbally say that they don't want you to say anything bad about them. They just assume you will, because a lot of people get mad at Kamisha. Kamisha has branded herself as the reality TV interviewer, blogger. Like she's been doing it, right? And so she reports on everything on both sides, whether it's something good about somebody, whether it's something bad about somebody or whatever. And some people get mad at the fact when she says something bad. I think Janelle called Kamisha out or tried to call Kamisha out on her live, and because she said she let some people come up there and say stuff. Like, you can't control what a person comes to say about you. So if they befriend a vlogger because they want them not to say nothing bad, that's crazy, because you shouldn't want a yes man. You shouldn't want that. You know what I'm saying? You should want an objective opinion on what. The beautiful thing about being on that show is that you can get all these opinions about one thing that you did. And so, like, that's like feedback that you can kind of sit back and learn from. So and use to your advantage. Like I said, I think Unique did that because she mentioned it, that she's been on TV before and she knows how to kind of look back and be like, okay, I can reflect on that. Yeah. And that's the attitude that people should take, because it's nothing you can do about it. The show, the footage is gonna play. Whatever's on the cutting room floor is on the cutting room floor, and then you can fill it in at the end. Like, don't waste your time embarrassing yourself on Beyonce's internet, fussing people out for things that we have no control over and that you have no control over, and just making yourself look worse. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? However, if you want to do it and you must do it, please, make it public so that we can keep following. Yeah, we want to know what's happening. Shenanigans. The shenanigans. The shenanigans. He was sitting there like, Janelle. Welcome back to the shenanigans. Anyway, but she had a moment. She did say that, she, recovered from it, and she did admit that she was acting the ass or whatever. So, okay, we're going to see what happens in episode 5. I do feel like Red is probably going home based on what I saw on the different shows. I watched a couple people's recaps. At first, but I was saying I didn't know which one was going to go home. But I feel like now that I watched a couple of people's recaps and stuff, I did see some different points of view, and I did see that some people said that they didn't see him in the previous. I mean, like the previous. Yeah. So Red is probably going to go home, which he probably needs to go. He needed to go home at that time, but yeah. So anyway, that's it. That's all I have to say about that. Helen said, "I don't think they're embarrassed. Yeah, they're not embarrassed right now, and people will still do stuff." Continue to do stuff even though they are embarrassed because they don't know how to recover. That's what I was gonna say. So, like, they could be embarrassed, but like, what are your options when you're embarrassed? You're not gonna come out and be like, you know what, guys, I'm so embarrassed. They're gonna keep like, so what? We're moving on. That's what Shabiba said. We're moving. Janelle should be embarrassed right now because she went and physically, like nobody told her to turn on the camera to go show that she was going over the girl. She should be embarrassed for that, because we didn't even need to know about that. You know what I'm saying? It's not like somebody else caught her doing it. She recorded herself. Like
somebody can bring that up on their phone. I that would just be a very awkward moment for me for somebody to be like, "Look at this. Is this you?" You know, and it's
girl,
like,
what are you doing?
did that. But also, I think that's the whole point. It's like when people are embarrassed, they have, you know, a choice, several choices, but the two that are shining to me are either cop to it and be like, you know what, that's not the best thing I ever did, which is actually what Janelle did. But she also didn't have to put it on camera. But anyway, and then you have the opposite, which is Shabibi saying, you know, let's move on. Like he's a man. At this point, he's
right
fictional.
now. And let me tell you,
whatever I want. Because at this point, he's a fictional character.
Let me just say this too. I said I used to work at the DIA as well. There are or were fuck niggas at DIA. There was a lot of them. Okay, like. Don't let it fool you. Like, just because a person has that kind of job does not mean that they cannot be a fuckboy, because there were a lot of them there. Okay. I'm not even going to hold you. I used to get, should I say this?
No. If you have to ask yourself that, then you shouldn't.
I think I can say this.
I don't think you should. I don't even know what it is.
I could say it.
I don't think you should.
I used to get,
1 second. Think about it.
You think about it real quick.
I don't know.
All I'm saying is it means nothing. It means nothing. The fact that he worked at DIA, yes, kudos. You got a job there. You went through the application process and you did what you had to do. But it doesn't take away that you are a ridiculous person.
Yes.
Right now.
Yes.
That's all I'll say. That's what I'll say. Okay.
Amen.
I used to go to work there every day. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of stuff happened. You know what I mean? So that's all I'll say about that. But anyway. So Mocha Mima says you need tough skin for TV and YouTube. Yes, you do, and you have to have a little bit of I don't care about what people think, because everybody has their opinion, and if you don't like a person's opinion, you can go to somebody else's opinion. But you know,
that's also the one thing. That's the one thing about being yourself too, is that when you showed up as yourself and somebody doesn't like you, well, that's all you had to offer anyway. But when you're creating something that is a facade or show,
like damn, they don't even like the character that I created. They don't like me.
It's even harder because it's like you didn't even put your best foot forward. You can't even say like I wasn't their cup of tea. You just, you know.
And so Ellen also says there's always at least 2 years. There is every season. And then she says Sassy Red. Shout out to Chloe Johnson. Chloe said that. And then Mocha said Janelle did some hood rat shit. And that's the thing. After you get a certain age, you don't really want to be tied to any hood rat behavior. Like
I know. And people were so Crystal had said, and I don't even know if she addressed it in another video. Crystal XO said that when women are throwing back and forth, like what each other makes, or like, you know, whether it's a real bag and stuff like that, like Janelle had said, it's like men don't care about that stuff. So why are you really here? That was the irony to me of Janelle making those comments on her live about this is a dating show, and imagine you people being so bothered by me and calling me a mean girl. This is a dating show. This is a dating show. And the irony of all that is that like you don't see what everybody else is saying about you is manifesting right before. You know what I'm saying? Our eyes, like you are so blinded to the idea that you're putting off this energy. Perhaps if you took a step back and observed and actually actively listen to what people are saying, you might learn that about yourself, that like, oh, I'm coming off this way, as opposed to just being so removed from it and so condescending that it's so beneath you to even have a self-review. It's like you're not even open to
learning. It can't be you.
It can't be me. Look, oh my God, to think that everyone hates me on a dating show. If you were to flip that and think like, well, how did I get here? Mm-hmm. Everyone hates me on a dating show. Could I have participated in that?
She said all the dudes wanted her. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But I will say this though, right? Somebody else went on the show and did this as well. They went on the show and specifically did not befriend the women, right? And they just worried about the men.
Okay.
And I kind of respect that approach, because it's too much bullshit when it comes to it, because you can't even believe everything that's said in those women's lounges. Like,
absolutely,
I wouldn't put it past none of them to say something just because they wanted to throw you off inside of the women's lounge. Like, oh, he did this to me.
That's how I felt about the whole
told
Phil
me
thing.
Yeah, I mean, that was a question as well.
Weird.
I mean, it was a couple of other situations that were questionable too. Like, you just got to take it with a grain of salt. I feel like it happens in the men's lounges too. They do have some seasons where the men bond a little bit, but then they also have some where I think Corey might have said he was saying stuff to throw people off or whatever.
Something happened last season with the men that I thought was weird. Was it Tony? I don't remember. Anyway, listen, here's the deal. I'm ready to look forward to the rest of what's happening this season. There's probably a few more coming.
No, I think we're good now.
But I really enjoyed this. But here's the thing. I really enjoyed the show. I remember saying that when we did our quick recap on Friday, but like the things that happened after the show just put things into a different light. And it's almost like social media. I mean, it's real time, but it's like competing with what the show produced. I don't know how much of it is that like maybe production is to blame, but I will say this, and we'll discuss this in a later episode. What is production doing that is creating this sort of dynamic? And I think they're doing something different with recording. Maybe it's the network. They're recording these reunions before the show airs.
So they did that. They didn't do that last.
Supposedly they did it with the DC cast.
No, they got to see little clips.
Okay. Well, here's the thing.
So well, listen. They didn't wait till they aired it. Well, okay, so the DC one, they filmed that reunion halfway through it, about episode 5 or 6. So they got to see a little bit of it. But this season, they filmed it before they started airing. But listen, if I got all the footage, right? And I'm looking at it, and I see
you're
going
gonna
on,
create
and I know how I'm gonna create.
It's like, let's get this going now, so they don't see it.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. But that's why I always say that they are misdirecting their anger, because why the fuck you mad at me for what was produced and what they picked up? Go be mad at OWN. I don't see no cast member doing any videos to OWN telling them that they did this, they did that, and they know they wrong for this. They always attack the people who are reviewing with just what they saw. So
you as a cast member gave them the material.
Yeah, like give people material. Like, just like I said, I feel like if we all just let the season play out, it'll be great. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't try to make no quick moves, no quick assumptions, because when you do jump in those premature interviews, then you end up looking a little bit crazy, and then you did that first, and it's just like, it's a moot point, and then you look really bad. Don't do it. Just chill.
Do it.
Just chill. Okay. So anyway,
don't you do it? That's all I gotta say. I wanted to put my Cisco neck up. Don't you do it?
Oh my God. I know that was a lie. I had a lot to say. I can't wait till tomorrow's episode. Funny. We should get 2 eliminations tomorrow. I feel like it's a guy and a girl. I don't know. Because the guy was supposed to go home and didn't go home, and then the girl, then the power was switched. So I feel like it should be a guy and a girl. So we'll see, because we don't know. But so we'll be back tomorrow with our hot takes. Do you have any last words or whatever?
That's all. There's no hate or any shade to anybody. I want everybody on the Ready to Love cast to know, and even the people who are probably filming now, if I'm thinking ahead, like, whoever joins whoever joins a reality show should know that, like, you're giving up a little bit of control, but what you can control is your intention and how you show up. And you can always have the intention of just learning and getting better. And that's always just, a really good intention, because you're always going to be open to receiving feedback and getting better. If you're rejecting it, to be honest,
you can just be like, you know what? I was on TV. That's it. That's all. And then go do your post interview or not. Like, who cares? Who cares? Weird. Who cares? Like, people are going to talk regardless of what you say. So just don't waste your energy making yourself look crazy. That's all I want to say.
But I look forward to the next episode. It's so funny that we kind of
Blondie said that, I'm sorry, the Miami cast didn't see any episodes, or maybe they only saw one.
Well, we're looking forward to tomorrow night's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Shout out, Mocha.
What'd you say?
Mocha said, good night. She got to ride the porcelain. I'll tell you what she means.
I know. Okay. I
Exactly,
think
but yeah. Oh, yeah,
well,
yeah.
thanks, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Join us tomorrow night.
Right after the show,
right
maybe
after
9:30. We're going to give our hot takes and see what happened. Hopefully, it's a good episode. Other than that, we about to eat. We'll see y'all
Bye
in the next video.